Hey everyone, it's Carolyn. After my accident, I was determined to get my bike up to snuff from a safety perspective. For now, this meant installing fatter tires. I currently have 40s in the front and 45s in the back, and I want both to be 45 millimeters. So I'm heading over to Tony's. He's my go-to bike mechanic who is patient, personal, and extremely knowledgeable, and honestly, the only guy I trust with my bike. While Tony is showing us how to install a tubeless tire, I could also do it, but my thumb is out of commission. He'll be sharing installation tips, answering tire questions, and sharing an important concept called bracketing that I wish I knew about when I swapped out my wheels and tires. All right, let's begin.
Pop the bead. Try to take it off my hand first. Push all of the slack into the valve area. And see if I can get it off by hand. If I can't, it's pretty close. Can't quite.
This one was really hard. What do you do with the old sealant?
I have a cup to collect it, so then I put it back in the new tire.
Oh, okay.
It's totally, it hasn't dried, it's totally fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, save money.
Got it.
Less waste.
Yeah. How do you clean dry sealant off tires? Is there a point to doing that?
There is if it's like a giant layer is collected and it really bothers you, but the weight is really marginal. Like the weight of dry sealant is actually not much. Like you can, I've removed an entire layer and put it on a scale because I was curious, and it was really less than 10 grams.
Okay.
Even with a thick layer on a mountain bike tire. So I think that the easiest way I've seen is like take a pair of gardening gloves with like the rough texture and then just sort of like roll the inside of the tire. Yeah. So now I got that. So there's sealant in there, right? So I usually just sort of try my best to suck up whatever sealant is in there. To reuse it. The other method to like try to get the sealant out is to try to create a little funnel, like V and pull it out.
I see. That's what I probably would have done.
Like do that. Depends how much is in there, and then the rest kind of just have to wipe up with a towel.
I see. So I'll say one thing that I like about coming here is that I could ask just so many questions to Tony, and oftentimes it's more like, why do people use this instead of this? Or like, what's a mullet setup? It's almost like I'm coming to a private class when it comes to bike mechanics, and I love it. It's great.
Because you've made the rim shelf thicker.
Okay.
So this is the shelf.
Yeah.
And this is the channel.
Okay.
We'll call this the shelf, the channel, and
Yeah.
this is the sidewall. This is hookless, so there's actually no hook here. So if you build this up, then you have to effectively push the tire onto a shelf that's a little bit higher. That's the hard part.
I see.
Is actually getting the tire like
Let's
on
see.
there and pop on. Also, the 2 layers of tape makes the center channel thicker. If your center channel is now higher,
Yeah.
it's less space for you to get the tire on. So sometimes, like if it's a really tricky tire, I might have to go back to like really thin 1 layer of tape. So it really depends on the situation. The only really hard tires I've had is like I've had to leave them in the sun and use this tool. If you leave the tire in the sun, it's really really soft, much easier to work with. I always check, because people do this wrong a lot, is people put the tire on in the wrong direction, then they have to take the tire off again. Happens to the best of us. Check the rotation direction. It says this direction. So, and I am pointing the bike forward because the disc is always on the left side. So I know that I can put the tire on this way. When you really be pro, you're going to align one of the logos to the valve stem. So that way it looks nice. The logo with the valve stem. Get one side on. Make sure that's still aligned. And then I always start with putting this part on last. So I start opposite the valve.
I see.
And then pops off in a different area.
Yeah, my thumbs would not. Nice. And you've been able to seat it fine with a track comp.
This is so tight. This tire and rim combo is so tight.
How do you know you heard enough?
You have to check the line.
Oh, I see the bead line.
If
yeah.
that line is visible,
Got it.
You're good.
Got it.
Yeah. So looks like it's good all the way around. Then that's it.
I see.
So sometimes I leave it for a little bit just to see if it's holding a good seal without sealant. Because like, what if you're riding and you forgot about your sealant and it is dry? Then you might run it like this without sealant inside. So the fact that it's holding air is important.
That's how I did it.
I usually do like 2 ounces for a road gravel.
So just
2
like
to 3.
one of those bottles?
This is
I've only been using one of those bottles per refill.
refill?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is 2 ounces, so that's probably good. And for topping off, sometimes you can get away with just topping off 1 ounce.
Oh, really?
If you hear something, that means there's still sealant in there. So you can just top off 1 ounce each time. Otherwise, you're adding like a lot. So you might end up with like, if you add 2 each, like your initial pour was 2, you keep adding 2. You might actually be pooling even more sealant than you think. And 2 ounces hasn't dried. If you shake it, you still hear something. That means there's still liquid in there.
I've been doing 2 most of the time.
Yeah, that's probably why it's never dried, because it's a lot. That's a lot of sealant.
Yeah. That's why my bike is so heavy.
I like to be economical because there's no sense in using more than you need to.
Just need to use enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So use these.
You just like those just came with some wheels that you bought?
I think I got it at Sea Otter or something. You should do what's called bracketing. You should ride the same section over and over and keep lowering your PSI by 5 until it feels squirmy, and then put it back up. Remember, I was saying testing is important. Don't go sending it with like new equipment, new tires that you're not sure of. So you should take a corner and be like, oh, keep lowering it, like you're gonna get more and more grip, and then at some point the tire's gonna start to feel squirmy because the sidewall is starting to collapse too much. So at some point it's gonna be like, ooh, you can feel the tire deforming. That's when you know it's too low. You need to put it back up. That should be your pressure. Bracketing is important. Don't just go off online guides. Dirt is really personal.
Yeah, they don't teach you bracketing.
It's a thing. Like, yeah, you can bracket everything that has a variable.
So what about road tires? Like I never.
You can bracket road tires too. Like, yeah, you can. Like, I found, online pressure calculators to be too high for what I like, and the roads here in Oakland are quite bad. Yeah. So I don't run super high pressures. Like, I think for my bike on 28 tires, recommended pressure is like 75 to 80. I run 65, and I have no problem cornering and going fast.
On your road tires?
Yep.
You said? Wow. Okay.
And I'm not light. I'm like 180 all kitted up.
What? How wide are your tires?
28. And they measure 28 because I don't have like... That bike doesn't have really wide rims.
Yeah. I have 28s too, and I'm putting like 80 on there, and I'm a lot lighter than
You're quite a bit lighter than me. Probably go down to 60, 55. You should keep going down until it starts... Okay, you're going to hit a point where this is really comfy. Again, you're going to hit a point where you take a corner and the tire feels squirmy, at which point you should go back up.
I guess I worry about puncturing. Well, not puncturing, but like
pinch flat.
Pinch flat. Yeah.
Worrying about pinch flats. I run tubes in my road bike. Yeah. I don't pinch flat. I just watch for potholes, and I don't hit square edge potholes. Even if I did, I think I have been on a ride where I like hit a pothole. Like a square edge pothole would be like this, right? The worst kind of thing you could possibly hit. And I heard my rim clunk, and I didn't puncture. I don't know, I was using latex tubes. Maybe they're more pinch resistant. Not sure. But I have no problem running 65 in my 28s. Like, that's on my rim brake road bike. It's more classic rims. And then on my more modern road bike, I think I run 60. So I go even lower because it has wider modern rims and tubeless. No problems. I think I've even dropped it to 55 on like wet days where I want to grip over safety margin. 50, 55 even. I've had no problems with like feeling like the tires squirmy. Once the tire, spin it around a couple times. There's sealant there, and then you're good.
I will try bracketing once I get comfortable on my bike
Yeah,
again.
bracket anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's bracketing because I think people like will either start on one extreme
Yeah.
and then meet in the middle, or they'll just start at one end and then just keep lowering it. And I think with tires, it's easier to just keep lowering it.
Yeah.
With other stuff like suspension, it might be easier just to do two extremes to feel what they feel like,
Yes.
then go the middle and go plus or minus on either side until you find what's right.
Got it. All right.
That's all you need to do.
Nice. Thank you.
Fit still has the tread still good.
If they're gonna be in storage, what's the
Uh-huh.
best practice?
You can just leave the sealant in there and like just spin the tire so it doesn't pull in one spot once in a while, or you can.
It's going to my public storage, so I'm not gonna see it for a while.
Oh, if you're not gonna see it for a while, then
Yeah.
you can take the rim off, clean it, and then put it away.
Oh,
So
I
that way
see.
you don't have like a bunch of dried sealant you have to deal with later.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you do decide to use it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to store them closer, so if you get like a really bad puncture or like a sidewall cut, you can throw these on and then ride them the next day.
Oh,
So some
I
people
see.
will have spare wheel sets in that way,
I see.
where you can actually use it more regularly. Depends, you know. Like
Yeah.
I wish I had a spare mountain bike wheel set because my
Yeah.
bike was out of commission and I had to put a new part on. So
think-
it really depends.
All right, so I wrapped up my visit with Tony, and it always feels like I've gone to mechanic school when I'm with him. I feel like I come away with so much knowledge. The biggest takeaway was the importance of bracketing, really taking the time to test the tires and find ideal pressure for me. I'm taking that to heart and approaching my return to cycling, especially the first few rides, more conservatively until I feel more in tune with my bike, which practically feels new. I hope this helped you as much as it helped me. Thank you for watching. Bye.